There will never be another Steve Jobs, just as there will only ever be one of you. But that's also where your greatest advantage lies once you know how to confidently use it. That's what we're going to break down in this video. Before we talk about the fix, a super important note. Contrary to popular belief, every super successful person you can think of created their own path to success. But common misconception teaches us there's just one way to succeed. Even my parents would tell me to be like a certain person or do what they did. But that's not how it works. In her talk for the Stanford Graduate School of Business, Oprah gave this advice: align your personality with your purpose and no one can touch you. Here's what happens when you do that. A now famous nerd leaned into his coding skills to create one of the largest social media networks in the world. A shy kid went all in on his love of creating videos, becoming the most successful YouTuber to date. An awkward girl who thought she was never meant to be famous followed her love of makeup to become one of the youngest billionaires ever. The key is not that you have to be good at coding or YouTube or makeup. It's that you have skills and interests that are naturally easier and more enjoyable for you. You will automatically feel more confident if you spend your time figuring out how to use your strengths to hit your goals, not worrying about other people's strengths that you might not have. Of course, that doesn't mean your strengths will naturally overcome all your weaknesses. But this is where you can take a page from someone who overcame a lot of weaknesses to become one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Kobe Bryant had the natural interest and skill to play basketball, but he actually wasn't good enough to hold his own against the other players when he started playing seriously around 13 years old. Instead of giving up, he came up with a plan. He told himself, I knew I wasn't going to catch them in a year. That's when I sat down and I said, okay, this is going to take some thought. What do I want to work on first? Shooting. All right, let's knock this out. Let's focus on this for half a year and do nothing but shoot. After that, creating your own shot. The next summer after doing that, he got a little better. As he tells it, I scored. It wasn't much, but I scored. But he still didn't give up, which is how within 2 years, he was beating everyone. He was prepared for it to take even longer than that. He shared in one of his last interviews, I wasn't expecting it to happen in 2 years, but it did. Because what I had to do was to work on the basics and the fundamentals, while the other kids relied on their athleticism and their natural ability. And because I stick to the fundamentals, it caught up to them. The key is not to feel bad about your weaknesses because we all have them. But don't ignore them to just focus on your strengths either, as a lot of advice will tell you to do. Instead, create a plan to strengthen your weaknesses. That's how you'll be able to truly feel confident you can achieve your goals. But as you know, that alone won't guarantee your success either. There's one more thing every successful entrepreneur does, whether or not they admit it, to maximize their self-confidence. One of the most successful entrepreneurs ever, Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, did this in an especially smart way. Even though from day one, he had a huge vision for Amazon, he started relatively small. But he didn't just start randomly small either. He chose a specific strategy that would give him the best chance of success. He focused on selling books. In his words, books were the first best because they're incredibly unusual in one respect. There are more items in the book category than in any other category by far. When you have that many items, you can literally build a store online that couldn't exist any other way. It also helped that there's a large worldwide demand for books. They are relatively cheap and they are easy to store. This was a critical decision because building a business is kind of like jumping off a cliff. No matter how prepared you are, there's no guarantee. But what you can do is give yourself the best chance at success by using a strategy that'll minimize your risk and maximize your chances of success. A parachute, if you will, that'll make your jump a lot easier. But even with that, I know it can be tough to feel truly confident. That's why I appreciate one of the most popular business books of all time, Think and Grow Rich, but not in the way you might think. In fact, there's a missing piece you need to make the process in the book work for you. I share what that piece is in this video and how to use it so you can tangibly boost your confidence and hit your goals. I'll see you there.